Hello, citizens. Okay, imagine this. You've just separated from a highly toxic partner. You think the fight is just between the two of you, right?
But then your ex doesn't just sue you. They sue your parents, your siblings, and then they file disciplinary cases against your own lawyers.
Wait, my lawyers? Just to leave me completely defenseless in court?
Exactly. Welcome to what the Supreme Court of India literally called a matrimonial Mahabharata.
I need to know how this ends, because that sounds less like a divorce and more like the justice system being completely weaponized.
It was. This started back in 2010. By 2016, the marriage is incredibly toxic. The wife is in Mumbai with 2 young boys, and the husband, who happens to be a successful lawyer, stops paying any financial support.
So she goes to the family court just to feed her kids?
Yes, and the court orders him to pay 80,000 rupees a month.
Let me guess, since he knows the law, he finds some clever loophole to avoid paying?
Worse, he went on an absolute legal rampage. He filed over 80 different legal proceedings. He accused her of perjury, filed criminal complaints, and demanded 20 crores for his own mental agony, citing her Section 498A cruelty cases.
Hold on, 80 cases? The harassment is the point, isn't it? Paralyze her in court so she just gives up out of exhaustion.
Precisely. And for years it worked. The lower courts were completely gridlocked until she finally begged the Supreme Court to intervene.
Okay, but legally, how did he justify not paying the child support? He suddenly resigned from his corporate directorships. He told the court, "Look, I have no income. I'm practically living in poverty." Oh, come on. That is such an obvious trick. Did any judge actually buy that? The trial court certainly didn't. They actually used a powerful tool called Order 39, Rule 11 of the Civil Procedure Code. What does that actually mean in practice? It means striking off his defense. The judge basically said, if you refuse to obey our interim maintenance orders, we refuse to even hear your arguments. Good. But he appealed that, right? That's what a lawyer would do. He did. And even though the Bombay High Court backed the wife, she still couldn't get her money. There was no regular judge appointed in the family court to actually execute the order. So the system totally failed her on a procedural technicality. What did the Supreme Court do? They bypassed the standard roadblocks entirely. The judges saw right through his sudden unemployment. They legally dismissed it as an artificial veil, a deliberate deception to evade his responsibilities under the Rajneesh versus Neha maintenance guidelines. So basically, hiding your wealth by suddenly quitting your job won't work if the judges look close enough. Exactly. They even defended the wife moving her kids to Kolkata. Normally, courts hate unilateral relocation, but here they said it was a necessary protective measure against a highly toxic hostile environment. That makes so much sense. But what about those 80 pending lawsuits? Did she still have to fight those one by one? And this is where the Supreme Court dropped the hammer. They invoked Article 142 of the Constitution. Wait, Article 142? It's the Supreme Court's ultimate cheat code. It gives them the extraordinary power to bypass lower courts and do complete justice when the system is gridlocked.
So, what was the final verdict?
Using Article 142, they instantly dissolved the marriage. They ordered him to pay a massive 5 crore rupee permanent alimony, and then they unilaterally crushed all 80 pending civil and criminal cases.
Wow! The FIRs, the Bar Council complaints against her lawyers, all just wiped out in one stroke?
Instantly. It's a massive precedent. It promises lawyers that the Supreme Court will fiercely protect them from intimidation, and it ensures the justice system is never successfully weaponized for personal vengeance.
So for anyone listening, courts will prioritize your family's physical safety and peace of mind, and they will pierce right through any trick to hide your income.
Spot on. The matrimonial Mahabharata is finally over, and justice, ultimately, was absolute.